What's that, Skip? Shauno's talking about Supercoach again. Let's go. G'day legends, it's Shauno here and I'm back with some more Supercoach content. Today we're going to be doing our round 5 trades and captains video, and yes, it's another week of carnage that we're going to have to deal with. So in this video I'll go through what I'm doing in the way of trades and captains for my team, and then I'll go through and give my opinion on what's best for the community. Before we get on with it, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Do that now. That would help me out a lot. If you like the video, please like the video and leave me a comment down below and tell me who are your trades this week and who are you going to captain and make vice captain this week. All right, so as you can see, if you haven't already watched my round review video, go back and check that one out. But a quick update, we had a slightly better score this week, but it wasn't enough for us to go up in rank. So at least we're out of the buys, which I don't know is whether that's a good or a bad thing, considering how many injuries we seem to be getting every week. But at least it going to give me a good idea of how my team is going to go. So, all right, we can jump into the teams. Now, what am I going to do with trades this week? So, originally I thought about getting Midfield in at his reduced price, but I'm just a little bit up in the air about who's going to be the best defenders at the end of the year. Like, Whitfield's had a good score last week, but he hasn't had the greatest scores. He's got a good buy, which I like, but then Ash looks like he's scoring more down there, and he's also got Fonty stealing points away from both of them. So I don't know if I want to pay the 547 for him. The first thing, let's deal with, what about English? So we're going to trade English out. He lost some money. Had that injury. I think for starters, we could go Grundy, but it's an extra 40k to get Gorn, and Gorn, I believe, has the much better fixture-wise. He's much better fixture run, so we're going to get him, and we'll just confirm it. We'll go for the best. We should have started him at the beginning of the season, and we didn't, but now we'll go ahead and get him. Now, I think now we also don't have a lot of cash gen in my team, which that almost worries me more than the actual state of my team and my rank. As I've said before, I concentrate a lot on leagues, especially once I realize that I'm not in the running for the 50k anymore. And I've actually won every one of my league matches by some miracle. I don't know how I've done it, but I seem to have won all of them. So I need to think about how am I going to continue this and get a good start, because I think my cash gen is going to run out pretty early. And as you can see, we've only got 32 trades after this Max Gorn trade, which is not great. So we're going to use a boost as well this week. So that also worries me. We're going to use 10 trades to get to the team that we kind of really would like to have started with this team, and we're using 10 trades to get there. So it's a bit of a worry, but we do what we do. And so let's see who we're going to go next. Now, as you saw, I got in me mate, Duff Tyler. I'm an Eagles supporter. I love this kid, but he's got a break even of 63. He's made 50k. I don't really want him to lose money. So I had two options. I think my options for me were, I don't mind the look of the Jacob Farrow kid from Essendon, and Oscar Steen from Collingwood playing as a backup ruck. So I don't really want Duff Tyler to go down in money. So I think we're going to get rid of Duff Tyler. Kind of a waste of a trade. Yes, we made 50k, but we want to make a lot more than that when we do these kind of things. And yeah, so let's have a look. We have to do it like that. Otherwise, we can't actually search the players that we want. Oscar Steen, there he is. All right, let's get him in the team complete trade. All right, that gives me 274k. Now, like I said, Parrish needs to go. Parrish must go out of my team. He is also, he'll probably make his break even of 68, but he doesn't look like making it by much. He's just kind of stinking it up there in the team. I've got rookies that are doing just as well as he is. So we're going to get rid of him. And then we're going to put Tanner Bruhn up here into the midfield. And this means my flex position is open and I've got 622k to get basically whoever I want for that price. So we've been thinking about this a little bit. Do we want to bolster up the back line? We've got 3, hopefully, primos. Houston did a little bit better this week, so hopefully he's a primo. We've got 3 forward potential primos. We got in Myers last week, who let us down, but apparently he had a bit of an injury scare. Another, a test as he was training or trying to get on. Actually, not even at training. It was at the while they were on the ground getting warmed up for the match. He did a test and he passed that test, but he didn't look as good as he normally does. So what I'm thinking is, why don't we go Kasai Pickett? Now, he's scoring more than some of the midfielders that I've got. And he seems to have a higher ceiling than the Sam Walsh that I've got, and he's doing better than the guy I paid 620k for in the way of Noah Anderson. He seemed to have a full-time midfield role, and he was going to offer me a little bit of flexibility. So if we complete this trade, that will give me, my team will look a little bit like this. I think we'll have Lindsay on the bench because we can't trust the Eagles to get enough Supercoach scores to count. And then we're predicted to get 2,188, which is usually, on a decent day, you're predicted a reasonable amount lower than what you normally do. We'll vice captain Gorn. We'll get to the captain section a little bit later on. But yeah, then we have these 3 guys on the bench. Murdoch, we could hope he comes back this week. As of the time of doing this video, the Eagles and Fremantle haven't put in their injury list yet, but as far as I'm aware, he's not coming back this week. We make Carroll. So we could have sold Carroll instead of Duff Tyler, but Carroll has still got some money to make. And strangely enough, if I had sold Carroll and got an Cozzy Pickett, I would have had exactly $0 left in my account. So this way, I've got 100k left in my account, plus Carroll will go up, and there's no chance of Duff Tyler getting out of 40 and losing that little bit of money that he's made for me. So I think that's how the team is going to look. We'll probably put Pickett up here, and according to the Port Adelaide website, Marshall is a good chance to play this week. Still a test, but they said they should be available for Sunday's game. So hopefully he'll be back, and if he does play, it means he'll get that DPP status. Don't forget, DPP changes happen after this round. So after round 5, before round 6. So I'm thinking about a little bit of a head. So I feel like my forward line, I've got 4 really good dudes. Hopefully Flanders can be called a premium and stay there. And these 2 spots with Buderick and Robertson, well, I've kind of penciled in for Petrarca and for Tuke Miller. There are a few other options out there, which I'll go through for you guys, the community, but they're the 2 guys that I would like in those positions. And then in this back line, I think we just pick up in the back line, in the middle and midfield, whoever's cheap and looks good. There's a few of those around at the moment, so we can have a look at that. So I'll go here again just so you can see nice and clear what we're doing. Steen, Gorn and Pickett in. Parrish, English and Duff Tyler out, leaving me 100k in the bank. All right, now what about you out there in the community? What's the best options for you guys? So let's go over to here, and I've got set up here the best buy-in rookies. People have played under 3 games, who are going to go up. They're on the bubble this week. So Milan Murdoch, if for some reason he's named, and you don't have him in your team, you want to get him in your team. Don't think he's going to be named, but keep an eye out for the team sheets and the Eagles injury list for that. Todd Marshall, if you don't have Todd Marshall and he is named, you want to get him in your team with a negative 75 break even. This is the reason I've gone with Oscar Steen. He has a negative 52 break even. He's playing a second ruck role as behind Darcy Cameron, and I think he has potential of scoring okay. Also like Jacob Farrow, but he is at that slightly higher price point. If I could get him in, I probably would into my team. I just can't do it, and I'd prefer to have that extra primo there to win my leagues and hopefully climb the overall ladder, a little bit more in the overall rankings. ZZ, if ZZ plays this week, I still don't think I would get him in. His job security does not seem great. Schoenberg, I don't think I'd be getting Schoenberg in as well. Eagles do have some players coming back soon. I don't think he will survive the culling. You know what Minnie McWalter is like with the rookies. He hates the rookies and he likes to drop them left, right, and centre. So even after a big thrashing by Geelong, by Sydney, I wouldn't be surprised if he's dropping rookies this week. Josh Light looks okay. So I think he's a viable option if you also need a midfielder to go down to. Job security, not too sure. I think Farrow might have better job security. So I think I'd probably pay up a little bit, and he's got the DPP if I could. But if you need someone who's a little bit cheaper, maybe Josh Light is your man. Now, we all were looking at Arthur Jones, but he has been injured, so he'll be someone that we can look at in a few weeks. As far as I know, he will not be playing this week. Tyler Byrne is a small forward. He looks okay, but he needs to score goals to get a decent score and could get some low scores. So I think there are better options out there. I think I wouldn't be going there. I think I'd take Steen over him if you need someone in your forward line. So that's it out of ones I like of the bubble this week, on their bubble. Are there any out there which have already gone up? So Joe Sarong, if you haven't got him at 220, probably missed the boat a little bit, but he does have a very low break even, so he could potentially make you another 80, 90k, so it could be one to get on, but he's not going to score that score every week. He could easily get you a 40 and stuff. He did play the Eagles. Let's not forget that. McAndrew probably missed the boat there. Like we talked about, Steen, I think, is a good pick. Devon Robertson, if you don't have him, could potentially be a pick, but I think I'd be going for one of the cheaper boys. So same with Mr. Grill, you probably missed him. So I don't think there are too many other options there. So that's if you're looking for a rookie. What about if you need a ruck, the big English situation? So if we go from here and we go to the summary and we ask for the rucks of the world. So I think depending on who else you've got, English out, your number one pick is gone. He's got the best average so far. He's killing teams. He's got a very good run coming up. I think Grundy is also a good pick, but his run isn't quite as easy as Gawn. He's got a 60k. There's only 60k difference between the both of them. Do I like spending 700k? No. Do I like spending 660k? No. But we're mucked around with the rugs enough, so I think I have anyway. So I think those two are options. And Luke Jackson is still options. Every week I say I'm not too sure about him and whether he's going to keep this up, and every week he delivers. So I think one of those three boys, or two if you already have one or the other, is a viable option for the English. As long as English, he's named as they haven't let us know how long he's going to be out for. I've heard anything from 1 to 12 weeks to 3 to 6 weeks. So if it was less than 2 weeks, I'd probably keep him, just the way I'm doing with trades, but we don't really know. It would be nice if they would come out and let us know. So hopefully keep your nose, keep your ears open and your nose to the ground, and see if you can hear anything in the rest of the week. If you hear a sneaky 2 weeks or 1 week, maybe you can keep him. I don't think I'd be looking at anybody else in the way of Rucks. I think, you know, you got Jordan Sweet got at 500k. I don't think I would go there. You probably have to trade him out at the end of the year. I'd say at the end of the year that it's going to be one of these guys. Well, two of these guys are going to be the best rucks who you're going to want in your team. It's going to be Gawn, Grundy, Jackson, English, or Sherry. You're going to want two of those guys. So you might as well make sure you've got one right now. Some of you, it might depend on money. Like if you need to go the cheaper option, I guess you have to go Jackson, which I considered myself. All right, let's say that you want a defender. You're looking at the defenders this week. Okay, so Tom Stewart. Most of us have Sinclair. If you don't have Sinclair, he is expensive, but he is the number one defender at the moment. So if you have money to burn, you can do that. But I think at this time of year, you probably should be looking a little bit more at the value options, and some of these guys will come down in the early months. So I'm going to be more towards, I'm going to aim this more towards the value options. So Tom Stewart at 550, he's gone up a bit, but he's still probably less than that 550, which I'm calling value. He's slightly injury prone, but he's having a great season. So 111 last week, very nice. I can understand if you go there. Just be a little bit worried about the injury sides of things if it was me. Josh Worrell, this one irks me or eeks me a bit, or however you say it. Looked at him every week, looks good. Every week he has some type of injury scare, and yet he comes out, scores 100 plus. So he's gone up from his 500k to 524. Still seems good value, and I could definitely understand if you wanted to go there. Lockie Ash, not exactly a value pick, but along with Sinclair, probably the two best defenders playing at the moment. So if you want the best of the best and you've got lots of money to spend, maybe you want to go there. So back to the value options. Zorko at under 550 seems like a reasonable pick. There's a lot of choice in defenders. 111 last week. Definitely someone you should be interested in. Josh Dacos at 530. He's the player that I got in last week. I still think he's a viable option. I think he can do better than this 94. So I think he also, if you need someone a little bit on the cheaper side, like a Worrell, or maybe you've got too many players already out on that round 12 buy, maybe Josh Dacos is an option. Now, Jaden Short, I don't think I could ever tell anybody to get Jaden Short into their team after last year. But on his performances so far this year, I kind of understand if you would. I kind of understand a little bit if that's something you're thinking about. He's cheap. He's got 134, 104, 68, 121. Now, we know he was a premium scorer in the past. Is Jaden Short back, or is he a trap? I'm not too sure. I'm leaning on the side of trap, but I could be totally wrong. Maybe I'm just biased from last year where I had him in my team and he was a very painful own. I think they're going to be better options. Is he going to be top 6 forward at the end of the year? I'm saying no, but he could prove me wrong. Now, here's another value option at Lockie Whitfield. I don't think I'd be going Sicily or Caleb Daniel. As I said, there's a lot of options out there. Lockie Whitfield at 547. Had a good week the week before. He was on bye this week, so he's going to go up, I believe, again. So he came down. Oh, he's break even 100, so he's probably not going to go up that much. So you can afford to have one more look at him if you want. I'm a little bit worried about those GWS backline guys. They have an awesome buy, the best buy out of everyone for the mid-season, so that's a good reason to pick him. The bad reason is they seem to be sharing the points around a little bit. Ash seems to have been the man so far, but, you know, I'd probably back Whitfield to bounce back, but I'm just not sure if he's going to be that Whitfield of old. And I've also got another theory, which could be completely wrong. With the new fast pace of the game, there seems to be less just chipping it around and marking in the back line, and that's where Lockie Whitfield really excels. That chip mark, you know, gets like a bit of a stat hog and gets the stats up that way, where players like Lockie Ash, who seem to get the ball and move it upfield, seem to be scoring more. That's just a theory of mine. Again, could be completely wrong. Archie Roberts, might be a few people looking at him. A few people started him. He repaid the people who started him. Don't know if I'd go there. I don't think, like I said, I think you should be looking at people you think could be up, top 6 to 8 defenders. He's got a 53, 100, 100, and a 30, 136. So I'm not too sure. He's a little bit cheaper again, so a bit like the Jaden Short pick. I think more like a mid-pricer than a primo. If you don't have the money to go anywhere else, I understand, but I probably wouldn't be going there myself. So the one we're looking at, probably not for this week, but for the week after, keep an eye on Nick Newman. Got a 96, has a history of scoring very well in that defender, distributor role. Let's have another look at him. He could be a cheap option next week. We were considering starting him at the beginning of the season before he was a bit of an idiot and got himself suspended. But he's one to keep an eye on. If he was to come out smash a 115 plus this week, he's something that someone may be considered. Nick Blakey down to 528. Again, there's so many choices. Jordan Clark had that stinker last week. So he is potentially he's got a big break even, I believe. Sorry about that, crew. Supercoach decided to die right in the middle of the video. I believe we're up to Jordan Clark. Had a bit of a stinker this week. If anyone listened to my advice last week, I thought he was going to be very dependable when he was one of my number one trade-ins. So sorry about that. He's got a break even of 146 this week. So probably don't get him this week if you're still injured. He will drop. If we could pick him up from below 500k, he could definitely be someone we could be looking at in a couple of weeks' time. So, okay, who have we got next? That's the defenders. Let's have a look if the midfielders. Are you shopping for a midfielder? All right. So, obviously, if you've got English money and you don't have Bont, he's 722. It's very expensive. He is the best player out there. So, I totally understand if you go and get him. He's just very good. Just very, very good, the Bont. Max Holmes, 610. Again, you're paying up, but also seems very good. And Bailey Smith is also, we didn't think he was going to be that great, and the game style is not going to suit him. Well, he's certainly showing us by getting another decent score this week. He is on the more expensive side, and like I said, I think at this time of the year, once you've got the big dogs, especially if you've got Dacos, Bont, and maybe Butters already, maybe you should be looking at some value prices, and that way you're going to have some more money to upgrade earlier in a few weeks' time. So Caleb Sarong, I've been saying that I can't trust him all season, even after having him in my team pre-season, and he just keeps delivering. So at 567, he looks like he's still good value. He is susceptible to a tag, but I could totally understand if you go there. He's still delivering, a very good average and doing very well. Tim Taranto, I've heard a few people talk about this. He's Richmond's number one midfielder. He's scoring very well. The only issue I have with Tim Taranto is picking him from a Richmond team. Same as picking Eagles, same as picking, any team like from Essendon. Unfortunately, overall in Supercoach, when teams get beaten badly, the team that wins gets a lot more Supercoach points than the team that loses. And so that just means there's less points for those to go around. So it just means that Tim Taranto might not have the same ceiling as other players just because the whole team doesn't get as many points. So he's definitely, not too bad, but I wouldn't be going there. Now, LDU, a little bit the same as Taranto, but he's been very good. And I think North look a little bit better than Richmond and a few of the other teams. So probably should have started him. Is he going to be a top 10 defender? Well, he's doing better than my Sam Walsh and Noah Anderson, who I've got. So, I mean, I can understand if you go there, but I don't think you need to now that the buys are over. And the same goes with Jack Steele. If you started with them, you're a genius. Keep them. It's what I should have done. If the number one team started both of these guys and they're absolutely killing it for him. So well done to that number one team for, working out how to counter the early buys, and he did it brilliantly. And the rest of us who thought we were going to get people like Noah Anderson and Nick Dacos really got punished for it. Luke Parker, I don't think I'd be going there. He had a few big weeks, and then he's had a 92. If he was a defender, maybe I'd be slightly more interested, but as a mid, I'm not as interested. He probably will get DPP after this round, though. So, I can understand if you would go there at 520, but I just don't know, especially with how Clarko likes to throw his players around. All of a sudden, if he ends up in the forward pocket, you'd be pretty disappointed. So Zach Merritt's cruising along doing Zach Merritt things. So again, I don't know how his ceiling's going to be playing for Essendon. He seems to be the only player really trying very hard down there at Essendon. That might be a little bit harsh, but that's what it looks like Supercoach-wise. And so I don't know if I would go there either. Touk Miller, I think this is a reasonable pick, except for he's got a big break even. So Touk Miller is almost guaranteed to get DPP status as a mid forward after this round. So if you were to do a sneaky buy him this week and then swing him into your forward line next week, I would totally understand. But I'm thinking he's going to go down. If he comes out and gets 110 or 100, he'll go down 10, 20, 30K. So pick him up next week. Have him in the plans for next week. He's certainly in my plans. I don't know if I'll be able to afford him next week, but he's definitely in my plans to get in my forward line. Shai Bolton, come back down to earth with an 85, which is still not bad, but it's a long way from those 150s that he was getting. And in the first half, he was not looking too great. So I'd still probably stay away from Shai Bolton if it was me. Keziah Pickett, he's the man that I'm going for this week. Probably more relevant as a forward. So we'll skip by because I'm going to talk about mids. Finn Callaghan, definitely 175. He's not exactly value, but he's got an awesome mid-year buy. And I guess the same goes for his mate underneath him, Clayton Oliver. Now, who do I trust more? I probably trust Finn Callaghan more, but Clayton's been doing not too bad. He's been doing not too bad. So I can understand. And it's still only 500K. So if you need someone who's a bit cheaper, it's not a pick for me. But at 121, a 69, a 117, and a 111, I could understand it. He doesn't seem to have that massive ceiling that he used to have. But hey, maybe it's coming. Maybe he's building into it. Finn Callaghan, on the other hand, with a 89, a 120, 86, and a 124, I think potentially does have that big ceiling. Just a matter of, how much he's got to break even 134. So he potentially could come down as well, but considering their awesome buy at the end of mid-season, I can understand whether you could getting one of those guys. Noah Anderson, well, I've got him. I'd say don't get him. He's been not a very nice own so far. He's got a break even of 169, so he'll be coming down a lot, and you'll be able to pick him up for maybe less than 500K, which will make Shauno a very upset boy. But we do what we do. Matthew Kennedy, I probably wouldn't go there. Christian Petrarca, I was hoping he might be back this week, but as far as I know, that's not going to happen. He's going to be an extra week away. If we look at the Gold Coast, I did have a quick look, but I forgot what it said. Christian Petrarca hamstring test. So it says Petrarca's a chance of returning earlier than expected for Saturday's match. Now, if Petrarca was to return, potentially with my team, I could almost be convinced to take Cozzy Pickett out and put Petrarca in. Or I'd definitely be looking to get Petrarca next week or the week after. He has a break even of 100, so he'll have to go a long way over 100, and maybe just give him that run after being back with the hamstring to make sure he's perfectly okay. Also, too, don't forget Matt Rowell is back in the team, so they'll have Rowell, Anderson, and Petrarca running through the midfield. Does that affect the midfield minutes and the CBAs that Petrarca gets? I'm not too sure. I don't think they'll be playing Rowell up forward, so maybe Petrarca gets to a little bit more time up forward. So I think it's worth having a look at him and seeing how he goes. But geez, it'd be nice to get him back in. And if I knew he was only going to be out for that long, I probably would have kept him. Sam Walsh, I've got him, don't get him. Now, Lockie Neal. Lockie Neal, 528, seems like kind of a bargain to me. Now, scoring okay. We know he can go big. We also know he's susceptible to a tag. But I'm thinking if you want a midfielder, Lockie Neal could be a man, and the price is right. Brayshaw also coming down at 570 at a 120. He's got a break even, 126. So could be somebody also has a good mid-season buy. And then I don't know if I'd be considering too many others. Some of these guys like Dunkley just aren't seem to be doing it this year. He was definitely a gun. Isaac Heaney, I know he's coming off a 156 last week. 98 break even, 588k. He's at the highest side. He's not exactly value. You're probably paying for what you're getting, but is a very good player. Mid-season buy is okay. So I think he is a reasonable pick too if you're looking for a midfielder. I don't think there's any others there, crew. So now we will look at the forwards. If you're in the shopping, out there shopping for a forward, Sheasel, most of us have him, so I'm not really going to talk about it. Josh Tracy, key forward, not going to go there. Shea Bolton, I'd stay away from it myself. Don't forget, Hayden Young is only a week or two away. When he comes back, what's happening with Shea Bolton's CBAs? I always when I'm picking a player, I want to know that their position is locked. Now, I don't think Shea Bolton's position is locked. So, will he spend more time through the midfield? Sure. How much of that is going to be when Hayden Young comes back? I'm not too sure. Keziah Pickett, I think Keziah Pickett has shown he is a midfielder, and that's why I'm getting him. He's played predominantly midfield now. He's not, being thrown up forward and those type of things. He is a gun midfielder, and that's why I'm picking him this week. And even though I would like Petrarca, I feel at his lower price, with a break-even of 49 and a high potential, it looks like he's going to be in the top 6 to 8 or up to the top 8 forwards in the season. That's why I'm getting him this week, and I think he is a really good buy at that price. Like I said, he's doing better than some of my primo midfielders. As we said, Christian Petrarca, if he comes back this week, could be a buy, could be a wait for 1 week. Connor McDonald, I think you needed to be on him at the beginning of the season. I wouldn't be buying into him now. Graham Myers, who I got last week, I still think he'd be a reasonable option, but after this 70, he's got a break even of 117. I'd probably give him another week, especially because he was a bit proppy at the beginning of that match. Let's see if he overcomes that and goes back to being the Graham Myers of all. Now, a lot of people are going to look at Josh Rochelle, a break even of 22. He's only 400k. And he's had an 88, a 50, a 127, and a 94. Again, he's another one. Yes, he is getting more midfield time. There are some outs in the Adelaide team. So I think this scoring that he's got so far, even if you take out the 50, is probably what you could expect. So if you're happy with an occasional spike score and then like 80s and 90s, sure, jump in there at 400k. Do I think he's going to be a top 8 forward? I don't think he is. I think he might go close, and at 400k, it could be worthwhile buying him for that close. But I got a feeling that he's just going to be just outside of that, maybe like 10 to 12 to 10 to 14 top forward at the end of the season. But Shauno could be wrong. He's been wrong plenty of times before this season. Murphy Reed's plugging along nicely. At 400k, I think he's a bit expensive, but if he was 300k, I'd be buying him this week, or 310 or 320. Again, his midfield time may dry up a little bit once Hayden Young comes back into that team. Riley Thrillthorpe, as I like to call him, 475, 104. I don't like picking key forwards, but if I was going to pick one, it'd either be him or his mate down here a little bit lower of Sam Darcy. Both at the 475, both can have massive spike games on their days if they come out and kick 5 or 6 goals, but at the same time, they can easily drop you a 50, a 60, or a 70 if they don't have the best game. Like 80, 80, 70, 100. It's not lighting the world on fire so far, but he could easily drop a 130 or 140 if he gets a lot of goals one game. So he's consistent, but, not as consistent as you would like a mid-forward type of guy. And Sam Darcy probably looks about the same, 60, 90, 60, 100. So he's more like Riley Thrillthorpe seems to have a lower floor. So if I had to pick out of both of them, I'd probably take Riley. Just because we saw that he played up the ground a little bit, like through the midfield sometimes. So I think maybe he's got a higher floor. And I don't know about you guys, but Rory O'Brien, did not look really that great in the ruck this week, playing with McAndrew, who still looks very good. So maybe Rob gets dropped and the old Thrillthorpe gets more time in the ruck, which could also increase that floor. So I don't hate it, but I quite like it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. And there is one that I've kind of missed. Where is the man? I must have skipped past him. Oh, I can't see him. Don't know why I can't see him. Oh, we're going to have to look him up. The man, Zach Bailey from Brisbane. I must be blind. I do have my glasses on, but I must be blind. So I think at 480, he is also a reasonable pick. And I think, that was almost a Freudian slip, wasn't it? No, he's a reasonable pick. And so let's move on, Shauno. Stop laughing at your own jokes. 76, 115, and 107. I think he can also get a peak score. I think his floor is quite high. I think he's pretty reliable. So I think he's right up there, with a valid pick as well. At 480, I kind of like it. Now, there is a man that I noticed down here that a few people might be looking at, Tim Kelly. Now, we know that Robertson's coming back. We know that Elliot Yeo's going to come back. Does Tim Kelly keep the scoring up? If Eagles keep getting flogged every week, there's not going to be that many points to go around. So this is one that I'm saying is an avoid. There's going to be better options at the end of the season than Tim Kelly. So if you were going to go a 400k type, I'd probably prefer that you picked Rochelle over Tim Kelly. Again, his role is a little bit up in the air. We're not too sure. Plus, they've got Milan Murdoch coming back as well. There's going to be, who knows what's going on with the Eagles. So this is a pick that I would probably stay away from. Maybe I'm biased being an Eagles man, but I would not want anyone who you would like to be a primo at the end of the season from the Eagles, from Richmond, and potentially from Essendon. Those three teams, I think you don't want any primos, except maybe Zach Merritt, who seems to be able to outperform the entire team. Oh, there he was. He was a little bit lower down. Don't think I'd be considering anybody else for the forward line crew. So I think that hopefully gives you an idea if you were looking for some options this week. So now we're going to go ahead and do our captains. But before we do our captains, in our round video, we forgot, and we actually forgot to do it at the beginning of this video too, we forgot to do the MVP of Shauno's team. So again, let's looking at my team. Now, I'm going to reveal it this way by doing this. The MVP of Shauno's team was, there he is, the Bont. The beautiful man, the Bont. So if we have a look at the MVP, or the Dennis Cometti medal, as I'm calling it this year, for the best player, the MVP of Shauno's team, the Bont, this is his second polling of votes. He got 2 votes in round 2, and now he's got 3 votes for the 150 and being my captain score, or the 153. Let's get it right, Shauno. So now he's on a total of 5 points. Maybe he'll actually win the he'll win the equivalent of the Brownlow for Shauno's team. Like, he probably should have won the Brownlow a few times already in the actual AFL. So right now he's in the lead and doing quite nicely. All right, so captains and vice captain options. So let me have a look now, get myself comfortable. All right, I'm thinking with my team, it's going to be pretty easy for me. I'm getting in Gawn. If I'm paying 700k for someone, he's going to be in my captain options. So he's going to be the vice captain versus Essendon and Blackiston or Peter Wright, whoever they put in the ruck this week. And for the captain, we will be going a Bontempelli again. So I'm looking for probably a 120 plus to hold. 125 would be nice, but I've learnt my lesson in the past that if it's 120 plus, I probably just take it. So that's who I'm doing. But what about you? Maybe you don't have Bont. Maybe you don't have Gawn. So the first game is Adelaide versus Carlton. I don't know if I'll be picking anybody out of that game to be my vice captain. Second game is Collingwood versus Fremantle. So if you wanted to put a sneaky vice captain on Dacos, there is a chance of a tag. I believe Corey Warner has gone to him in the past. So, and plus he was a bit that, hopefully he plays this week, Dacos. But even so, maybe with his slight injury scare last week and not playing, maybe this is a week that we don't vice captain him. But I can understand if you do. It's a nice early game. It's a Friday night game. So I understand if you want to do that. Brisbane versus North. You could try and Sheasel. I tried Sheasel last week and it didn't work. And Brisbane, the midfielders there just don't seem to be doing it. So I don't like any of the options there that much. Then you've got Essendon, Melbourne. So yes, a Gawn, even a Cozzy Pickett, if you have him, could be a sneaky vice captain. I have a feeling they're going to play quite well. Even though Essendon don't seem to be a big stoppage team, so maybe Gawn's score won't be as big as I hope. But paying 700k for him, I'm gonna give him the chance, because if he went and scored a 170 again and I missed it, I'd cry. No one likes to see a grown Shauno cry. So then you've got Sydney versus a Gold Coast Suns. Again, Witts has been known as a restrictive ruckman, but he certainly didn't restrict Gawn last week like some of us predicted. So maybe if you've got a Grundy could be a sneaky vice captain. Or maybe if you've got a Heaney could be a sneaky vice captain in this game. Gold Coast, I'm not trusting anybody on Gold Coast. I'm definitely not making Noah Anderson my captain. And if you're buying in Petrarca, if he does come back this week and you buy him in, I'd probably give him a week just to see how things are going before making him my vice captain. So then you've got Hawks and Western Bulldogs. Obviously, Bont is an option there for your vice captain as well. That's still on Saturday, so you could always vice captain him into one of the Sunday games. So also in the Sunday games, you've got Geelong versus West Coast. So here's a good game for a Bailey Smith or a Max Holmes. So a vice captain of Bont into like a Max Holmes or a Bailey Smith sounds like a very viable option. If you didn't have Gawn and you've got one of those Geelong boys, I'd definitely be considering doing that myself. GWS versus Richmond, maybe a Bontempelli into a Finn Callahan, or maybe even a sneaky Lockie Ash could be the way to go. And the last game, Port Adelaide versus St Kilda. So you could always do Bont if you also have Bont, or one of those other suggestions we had for your vice captain into a Zach Butters. Zach Butters is probably due a spike game. He hasn't had one for a little while, so maybe this is the game for him. Anyway, crew, I hope that clears up some of your captain choices. We won't go on with the video anymore. We will just say, please, please, please sub to my channel, and please like the video if you like the video, and leave me a comment down below telling me who you're trading in, and who your vice captain and captains will be. Also, don't forget to join my Discord, and if you need any more help, you can go in there and have a chat about what you're thinking about doing, and myself and some very knowledgeable people, probably a lot more knowledgeable than me, will be able to help you out with your choices, and you'll be able to post your team in the Post My Team Here section. And when we do our live video on Thursday, we will put your team up on the screen and we'll have a chat about it. So don't miss that live video. Hopefully we'll have more news about injuries and who's going to be playing and who's not going to be playing by that time. And we can have a big chat about what we're all going to do with our teams. So I hope everybody enjoyed the video. Thank you all so much for your support so far. And I hope I will speak to you all again very soon. Take it away, Skip.